Now I'm going to explain classification chapter. This is the previous unit, which is continuation of the previous unit where they end the previous video. Classification. Classification is a process of arranging data into various groups, classes and subclasses according to some common characteristics of separating them into for different in but related parts. This is called classification. Now collected information, how we are going to be separating, arranging into groups, various groups, that is called classification. Definition of classification. Here also the people are defined in different format. Is one of the famous statistician, Professor R.S. Christ, arranging data into sequences and groups according to their common characteristics or separating them into different but related parts. This is a classification. Either you can write in the meaning or definitions. One more definition also is that Stockton and Clark, the process of grouping large number of individual facts and observation on the basis of similarity among the items is called as classification. This is the three different forms of classification. You can write any one, then you will get it as classification definitions. Then what are the characteristics of classification? Classification performs homogeneous grouping of data. Homogeneous data only will be considered for the classification. Second, it brings out points of similarities and dissimilarities. Similar and dissimilar will be considered, and then it may be either real or imaginary. Classification will make it as either real and imaginary, and then classification is flexible to accommodate adjustment. However we need, we can arrange it our point of view that can be used for the classification. Objectives of classification: simplify and condense the large data. Simple format or huge data can be reduced, can make it. It present the facts to easily in understandable form. We can make it as arrangement in the understandable format, and then to allow comparison, we can compare with that classification one form to another form, and then to help to draw valid inferences. Conclusions can be valid, you can draw that inferences. To relate the variables among the data, we can make a relate the variables among the data. We can consider that can be done in the things. To help further analysis, we can able to make a analysis of further used based on classification. To eliminate unwanted data, wherever it is not required, some of the data can be eliminated and separated. For that, classification will help more. So this is called classification of objectives. To prepare tabulation. Tabulation is more important in what we are going to make in the tabulation format. Now, guiding principles of classification. What are the guidings will be used? See that one by one. Following are the general guiding principles for good classification. One is exhaustive. Classification should be exhaustive. Each and every item in data must belong to one of the classes. Introduction of residual classes, either miscellaneous, should be avoided. Okay, residual classes will be avoided. And then mutually exclusive, each item should be placed at only one, should not be more than one place. That is a one. Suitability, the correct classification should be conform to object of inquiry. Stability, only one principle must be maintained throughout the classification and analysis. Any one information we are collecting, that should be throughout the information we need to be think about and then make a classification success. That is called stability. And then homogeneity, item should be homogeneous, same kind of thing, same value, same related values should be, that is called based relation to each other. Flexibility, a good classification should be flexible enough to accommodate new situation or change the situation. That should be maintained. Types of classification. There are four types. One is quantitative, qualitative, chronological, demographical. Here, types of classification refers to the class categories into which data could be sorted out and tabulated. This can be in the form of, one is geographical, on the basis of area or region wise; chronological, on the basis of temporal or historical, that is with respect to time. Then third one is qualitative, on the basis of character or attributes. Fourth one is numerical, quantitative, on the basis of magnitude. Geographical classification. It is in the form of, the classification is based on the geographical region, should be collected in this manner. Sales of the company in millions rupees region wise. Region sales: north 285, south 300, east 185, west 235. So one of the things we can make north, south, like that, or southeast, northeast on the area based in urban, rural, developed, semi-urban, like that. Different format you can collect it. That type of classification which is called as geographical classification. Chronological classification, according to the one format, either ascending order, descending order, or alphabetical order, any one of the format. Here some of format will be used. The statistical data are classified according to the time of its occurrence. The type of classification is called as chronological data. Here is given some example: month and sales: January 22 lakhs, February 26 lakhs, March 32 lakhs, April 25 lakhs, May 27 lakhs, June 30 lakhs, like that. According to the order, we are taking January, February, March, April, May, June, like that. That is called chronological classification. Qualitative classification. In qualitative classification, there are classified according to the presence or absence of attributes in given units. Thus, the classification is based on quality characteristics or attributes. One is sex, literacy, education, class grade, etc. Here, there are two things will be there. One is simple classification, another one is manifold classification. Simple classification is male, female, yes or no, like that we can make it. Here, one of the examples is given. Say, if the classification is done only two classes, then the classification is known as simple classification. Example: population into male and female, population into educated, uneducated, like that. Simple, two things will be considered. That is called simple classification. Manifold classification. Manifold means will be more than one attributes at a time will be considered. For example, you see that population, smokers, non-smokers, literate, in-smokers, literate, illiterate, male, female, illiterate, male, female, non-smokers, literate, illiterate, illiterate, male, female, illiterate, male, female, like that you can do it. Then you can call it as manifold classification. Now quantitative. Quantitative means which is expressed in the number. Already we studied in that. In quantitative classification, the classification based on quantitative measurements of some characteristics such as age, marks, income, production, sales, etc. The quantitative phenomenon under the study is known as variable. Hence, the classification is also called as classification by variable. Example: for a 50-mark test, marks obtained by students as classified as follow. What is that? This is the one. Marks. 50 marks is 0 to 10. How many people are taken? 10 to 20. How many people are taken? 20 to 30. 10 people. 30 to 40. 55. 40 to 50. The total is 50 students. 50 mark test. How many are taken? It's like that. If you define it, it is called quantitative classification.